So the people are going to be approving more, and it's going to cost the county citizens more than the 8 million. Because you're going to have to cover the interest.
That's correct.
So aren't you required, and I'm asking this of David, to have the total amount in that document that you present to the citizens for approval?
You mean the referendum?
Referendum?
No, the referendum will just have the principal amount. The resolution that's passed will have all the details. It will have the term,
what
the
I'm
interest
asking,
rate,
so
and the
what I'm
principal.
asking is this board going to tell the citizens that we're going to have this, again, use the magic $8 million number, that in addition to that, the county is going to be liable for whatever the interest on those bonds are. So we're actually, you're going to be giving us approval to spend 10 million, and we're not telling you that.
Well, I guess if going back to what Doug's saying is, if we go with the 20-year term, then every 6 years you will be spending or paying back $3,055,000. So you do that, what, on 3 terms, and you're going to be paying back a little over $9 million. Is that correct, Sam?
Yes, that's roughly correct.
So you really are supposed to tell the citizens that it's going to be, they're funding and bringing themselves into debt for 9 million, not the magic 8 million.
Well,
When you sell it, are you going to give the citizens the actual truth, or are you going to hide it? Putting it bluntly.
I don't think we're going to be hiding anything. I think what we're going to say, then we're approving a 20-year debt service, and it will be paid at all in at estimate at 3.1%. But according to Tom, he's suggesting that we go higher, right?
Yes, and the way the way that referendum resolution reads is you say we want the voters to authorize us to issue up to some amount of bonds, whatever amount you settle on. And what it also says, what the ballot question also says, and I think we've had some discussion on this, we will spend up to $3.9 million during this 6-year period on principal and interest, on debt service of those bonds. And so you don't have the ability to vote the SPLOST for the full term if you choose a term longer than 6 years. But what you are telling the voters very explicitly is this is the most we're going to spend on principal and interest from this SPLOST. And that obligation obviously extends beyond the SPLOST, but you are identifying the maximum that you're going to spend. And if you get a lower rate, well, you're going to spend less than that 3.9. But you have to identify, this is our project. Our project, in this case, is the repayment of some debt. And you set what's the most of that repayment that we will do during the 6-year term. So, you're giving the voters all the pieces, and it's hard to, there's no real forum other than the Board of Commissioners can give all the information they want to about the election out to voters. There's no real legal document anywhere where you capture those things. Again, just because the interest rate's unknown at the time you're voting bonds. You don't know that until you actually sell your bond. Now, a voter could say, well, if I'm making these 20 payments and the rate's 5%, you can calculate exactly what's the absolute, if we issued all the bonds at the highest rate, that's a known number. I mean, you can solve for exactly how much interest that is. Now, that's not something you will do, right? You're not, at 5% for the whole amount probably is more than you would sign up for. But that number can be calculated. It's not, that's the very most that you would pay.